directed by Autumn de Wilde and based off the novel by Jane Austen, and starring Anya Taylor-Joy, Bill Nighy, Mia Goth, and Johnny Flynn. The story of Emma revolves around Emma Woodhouse, a young, beautiful, rich socialite who decides to play matchmaker and try to set up her friends. Things don't go according to plan, though, and soon she's surrounded by misunderstandings, controversies, and dire circumstances. I wasn't too excited when I saw the trailer for this movie because I'd already seen a previous version of this story, Emma 1996, starring Gwyneth Paltrow. And that film I found to be tedious, kind of boring. It wasn't a bad movie, but it just didn't have a lot of personality in it. It left me really cold. And so I walked into this not expecting to like it very much. If there is one thing I can say about this movie is that it is stylish. Like, there is so much cool stuff in this movie. The color palette alone is ridiculous. It's just a pastel color overload. We're getting all these bright colors, like the walls are pink and the outfits are tan and gold, and then, you know, characters are wearing bright pink or bright yellow or bright blue, and just everything is cranked up, and it's visually a feast for the eyes. It is so colorful and so engaging on just a color choice level. And I don't know if it's accurate. It probably is exactly the opposite of accurate. It's probably very inaccurate. It makes the visuals of a, generally speaking, kind of bland story really pop in a fun, cool way. And that was huge.
Emma.
The costumes are also cranked up to 11. The costumes are not standard 18th century, fare. It's that stuff. Clearly, it's that kind of tailoring, that kind of design. But then it has added flourishes, and it has added little bits and bobs, and things are just kind of tailored to be a little more fitted, be a little more dynamic, and it feels like everybody is existing inside of like an oil painting or something. Like, it's all a little larger than life, and it's just so engaging to look at. Every single scene, there's another cool costume, and it's got a beautiful color palette, and and everything supports the visuals too. Like, the thing that I noticed was the hairstyles. Like, every character has a hairstyle that is so ridiculous. Emma in particular has this really over the top, like, curly thing. Like, her hair is super curly, and she's got this little bob on the back of her head, and like, it would be so impossibly difficult to make that hair work. And then on top of that, the camera work has so much energy to it. The choices of camera are dynamic and interesting, and we're getting these mixes of like kind of really well-designed, beautiful wide shots. But then in moments of drama and of interpersonal connection, we're getting these really intimate over-the-shoulder shots where things are a little out of focus, and it's mimicking the feeling of what the characters are feeling. It's just really smart in how it's presenting this, because again, the source material, while it's smartly written, there's a lot of great interpersonal drama. The story itself can feel very dry and a little convoluted. And so by doing all of these amazing visual things, it just makes the movie so fun to watch. But I think one of my favorite parts of the movie are some of the performances. Anya Taylor-Joy is just amazing in this movie. I mean, she's so, oh my God, she's so beautiful. She looks like she was sculpted out of marble by a Renaissance artist. And her performance is this very snobbish, kind of uptight character who feels like she's superior to everybody else. But then on top of that, her physical performance of just the way she moves, the way she is so graceful, and everything she does is so clean, and so it's just right.
Dearly beloved friends, we gather here in this time of man's great innocence.
Innocence? Innocence? No?
Bill Nighy was the king of laughs in this movie. He got the most laughs in the screening I was in, and for good reason. He has just a really great physical presence. You know, he was getting laughs just by the way he was, like, you know, shuffling in his seat, or like looking at people, or just like they'd cut to him and he's just in a goofy pose, and like, or the way he adjusts his coat. His physical acting of the way he was doing things, you know, like interesting presence about him, which made it hilarious. It was so funny to watch him in every scene he was in. He feels really out of place. You know, Bill Nighy is so much a contemporary actor, and then you take him and you transplant him into, you know, 18th century England, and it doesn't quite work. He still very much feels like a contemporary actor, but it makes it funnier. So he's just so funny. The whole cast, it's a huge cast. The whole cast is so good. There's so many great performances. There's so many wonderful, quirky individual characters that are represented in this movie. Tremendous work from the director to get these performances, because they're so interesting, they're so unique, they're so dynamic. It's just like every character feels like a person you'd want to sit down and just talk to. Like they feel like a fleshed out person. And that's amazing, because that really is rare. My biggest complaints are the story itself. It gets kind of convoluted at times. It's a little unclear of exactly what's happening and why people are doing the things they're doing. You know, you just kind of write it out, and eventually it solves itself. And also the pacing is a little uneven. The first act is lovingly done, second act lovingly done, third act is kind of rushed, and so that's unfortunate. Things just kind of resolve, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess the movie's over now. And so that's also kind of unfortunate. With all that being said, my final score for Emma is going to be an 8 out of 10. So I ended up really liking this movie way more than I was expecting. And that's mainly based off of the visuals. You know, the visuals are just so good. They're so well crafted. The camera work is so well done. The performances are so great. They're so smart. The movie is really witty and funny and has so much style and character to it. Like, man, oh man, do I think you should see this one in theater? I would say it's worth it, because the visuals are beautiful. You know, this kind of very slow, methodical, you know, conversational movie where it's just a lot of people walking around talking. I usually say you can watch that at home, but in this instance, it's just such a visual treat that it's so worth it to see it in theater, especially if you're a fan of Jane Austen, or if you're a fan of movies set in this kind of time period. Thanks so much for watching my review of Emma. If you guys like the content, please do all that standard YouTube stuff, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm a new channel. I could really use the help. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching.